The NFL Quarterback of the Year award, I mean the NFL MVP award, one of the hardest awards to get if you play a position other than quarterback. And this season, I think we should see just that if history is made. It has been 40 years since Eric Dickerson set the all-time rushing record, which is 2,105 yards set in 1984 during a 16-game season. And that 2,000-yard mark comes with great company. There are only 8 running backs in the history of the NFL who have made it to that number. O.J. Simpson in 1973, Eric Dickerson in 1984, Barry Sanders in 1997, Terrell Davis in 1998, Jamal Lewis in 2003, Chris Johnson in 2009, Adrian Peterson in 2012, and none other than Derrick Henry in 2020. Which means if he does pull this off, he will be the first running back ever to have 2,000 yards in a season twice. But even with that being the case, only 4 of those guys actually won the MVP. And as of right now, the all-time leading rusher, Eric Dickerson, is not in that camp. In 1984, Dan Marino won the MVP, which unfortunately for Eric Dickerson, Dan Marino set the single season record in passing yards that year with 5,084. But even with that being the case, I think what would set Derrick Henry apart this time around is the current era that we are in. This is a passing league, a league that is leaning more and more towards splitting carries with other guys. But there is one man in the NFL right now who is doing it all when it comes to running the ball. Derrick Henry, as of right now, is leading the NFL in these categories: rushes, rush yards, rush touchdowns, yards per rush, rush first downs, longest rush, scrimmage yards, and scrimmage touchdowns. A guy who honestly unlocked the Ravens offense to a point where everybody is eating. And I know the Ravens offense was top tier last year without Derrick Henry, but now it just feels like with Derrick Henry there, every single person on that roster has the ability to go off at any moment. And the game just looks so much easier for those guys. But even though my vote would go to Derrick Henry in the event that he breaks the rushing record, if not, he may be looking at more of an offensive player of the year over an MVP. But still, without breaking the record, there is a case to be made. However, a guy like Jared Goff is balling. However, there is one more name that is even more glaring over Derrick Henry's MVP case, and that is his own teammate by the name of Lamar Jackson. Now, Lamar is a guy who is on pace for 4,396 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions with some insane numbers. And when I say insane, the man has been flat out balling and is making every single throw, every play, every time to put the Ravens as one of the best offenses in the league right now. I can't ignore that. You gotta recognize the game, but it is a part of me that would really love to see a running back or a wideout or somebody who isn't a quarterback actually win the award for the first time since Adrian Peterson did it in 2012. And if we look at all-time numbers, there are only 19 guys who have won the MVP that were not quarterbacks. So the odds are not in Derrick Henry's favor, even if he breaks the record. And although I think he deserves it, he more than likely won't win the MVP.